Uninformed immigrants are at a huge disadvantage in court, in financial and legal matters, and also sometimes in life. Well, what can we do about it? I'll tell you what. We can train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to maximize their lives regardless of their immigration status. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I am your immigration lawyer and host, Otis Landerholm, and this is the Empowered Immigrant Podcast. Hello and welcome. In today's episode, we're going to be tuning into a recent Client Success Summit, which is a full-day event for clients of our firm to improve their lives. So enjoy. Okay, so the first thing to look at is, we're here at the Client Success Summit. Well, what is success? How do you define success? Is it getting immigration status? Is that going to make you successful? Is becoming a U.S. citizen going to be the thing that makes you successful? I'd like to tell you a story about that. A few years ago, I think this was in 2014, I had a case that I had fought for, 3 years in immigration court. And finally we won. We won a case of a couple, husband and wife, who had a family, had kids, and we had we're talking $20,000 of a legal case, huge fight in immigration court, all right? Several hearings, arguments in front of the judge. Finally, after all the fighting, the judge agreed with us and approved the case, and finally they got their green cards, all right? So great, yay, it was a big win, all right? And then a year later, those couple, I reached out to those couples. I like to reach out to our previous clients. And a year later, I found out that couple was splitting up. They're getting divorced. And I was like, man, I was like heartbroken. I was like, we spent so much time working together. We spent so much time fighting this immigration case. And now they won. They've got a green card. And after getting the green card, they get all these disagreements, and now they're divorcing. So they clearly, getting their immigration status in order didn't make them successful. And so what is success for you? Is having enough money in your bank account going to be successful? There's plenty of people that have lots of money who are depressed. There's plenty of people who have lots of money who feel like they have no purpose and no meaning in their lives, all right? How about like being debt-free, being financially independent? Are those things going to make you successful? What about being healthy? Is if you're in tip-top shape and able to run marathons and things like that, are you going to be successful? The real question and the point of this summit, the point of all of this is, what is success not for somebody else? What is success for you? Because that's what we can help create. Once we know what success for you is, then okay, let's have a conversation about it, about strategies to get you there. But until we know what that is, it's like we don't even know which direction to go in. And so, as I've studied success and as I've looked at this question for me, what I have found is, and there are lots of people, and I encourage you to go through these exercises as well. There's lots of people, for example, Earl Nightingale, which is like one of the founders of the personal development world, right? No longer living. Earl Nightingale defined success as, quote, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, all right? Which I like that characterization of success, but for me, I want to make it simpler. For me, for Otis, right? Success equals to grow. To succeed means to grow. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking to improve. I'm looking to get better. I'm looking to grow in all the areas of life that matter to you, or in my case, to me. And so it's like, okay, let's get clear on those areas of our lives that are of specific importance to us, that matter to us, and let's grow and let's improve and let's get better in every single one of those areas, not just to reach some goal of immigration status or to reach some goal of, being healthy enough to run a marathon or something like that, but let's go for constant improvement. And so how do we do that? How do we grow? Well, really, the first step is to acknowledge where we are now, because the truth is that we're always growing already. We're either growing or we're dying. And if we're dying, we really need to acknowledge it so that we can change, make actions, make decisions, change our path, and start growing again. But often it's like we are already growing, and we just need to acknowledge it, and we need to then put fuel on the fire and be able to grow more, or to be able to grow more intentionally. And so let's look back and let's see where we've come. Let's acknowledge what we've done, because we are already growing, we are already improving. And just think, during the last 90 days, from the start of this COVID-19 pandemic until now, how have you grown? How have you improved your life? What steps have you taken? What have you accomplished? And really take a look and write it down and think it through. And as you're writing it down, I go back and forth between English and Spanish. As you're writing it down, what you're writing down is, what have I accomplished in the last 90 days? How have I grown in the areas of my life that matter most to me in the last 90 days? Write that down, and then I'm going to go back and say this in Spanish, and then we'll move on with our day, all right? It's critical to define where we've come before we define where we want to go and how we want to succeed going towards the future. And so let's do that. Take a few minutes, pull out a sheet of paper. Don't be shy. Write down some things that you've done to improve your life, and I'll translate this into Spanish, and then we'll share. All right. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Empowered Immigrant Podcast. If you like what you heard, and if you want to learn more, please go to landerholmimmigration.com/podcast.